I am Casey Sunbeam. Most people, including myself, strongly object to the Old Testament Ten Commandments being used as a central moral code. For those who think they are of chief importance and that they came from God, why didn't God give them to the very earliest humans instead of waiting until only 3,500 years ago? Besides, the traditional Ten Commandments were only for the Jews. The scrolls from which these precepts came from had no first word capitalization, commas, or periods. So Exodus chapter 20 essentially says, "Thou shalt not commit adultery against, steal from, or kill thy Jewish neighbor." This explains a seeming contradiction in Deuteronomy chapter 20, verses 13 to 14, where the Israelites were supposedly told to kill others and take their wives and everything they owned. Due to the terrible inadequacy of the Ten Commandments, numerous people created their own set of commandments. But I find these lists to be either too self-centered and therefore inadequate to help all of society, or too poorly constructed. Therefore, I have my own list of commandments, which I guarantee that, if followed, would turn every society into a utopia. Here they are. 1. You shall not be lazy. The reason for this is that without maintaining hard work, everything naturally falls apart. And without hard work, you lack the ability to cultivate the other commandments. 2. You shall not be prideful. That's because pride leads to selfishness, which ultimately leads to only helping yourself and hurting everyone else. 3. You shall not purposely cause the suffering of any living thing unless it's the byproduct of a proper punishment. This should be self-explanatory. 4. You shall never torture any creature mentally or physically, even in warfare, as there's no proof that torturing prisoners of war is effective. It could also lead to more resentment and therefore more conflict. 5. Honor and cultivate your family unit and oppose anything that harms it. The reason for this is that all of humanity arises from and is formed by the family unit. This also encompasses honor thy father and mother, and thou shalt not commit adultery. But it's better, since divorces today are rarely predicated upon adultery, but are usually for other reasons. Honor your own people your ethnicity should be included in that. 6. You must always treat others the way you want to be treated unless it is in conflict with the greater good. This is commonly known as the Golden Rule, but it is more than that since it has its necessary qualifications. 7. You shall not love money. That's because loving money is behind not only stealing and coveting, it's behind every economic problem, from inflation and annoying telemarketers to organized crime and people losing their homes and life savings. And it always reduces everyone to a number. 8. You shall preserve the natural environment and nurture it if able. This should be self-explanatory. If not, read about animal rights and environmental groups in chapter 21 of my book. 9. You shall seek all knowledge and wisdom. Then you should proclaim all truth and oppose all falsehood. The reason for this is that without knowing the difference between truth and lies, it is impossible to know what to do or not do. In addition, Christian believers consider Jesus Christ to be truth personified. But if you don't believe in that, that's your prerogative. 10. You shall cultivate love as much as possible. The reason for this is that without love, all the other principles tend to be shallow and fall apart. Jesus Christ also said to love God with your entire being. But if you don't believe in God, that's your prerogative too. These principles would work for people of every religion, and also for those who oppose religion, even atheists. For you Christian believers, don't think I'm casting off God's principles for my own. I've read the entire Old Testament 3 times over and have carefully read and studied the New Testament over a dozen times. Let me assure you, this list of commandments is far more in line with Christ's teachings than the Old Testament Ten Commandments are. Actually, this list should not be credited to me at all, but all credit should go to the Lord Jesus Christ. Take care.